2017 is definitely here, and of course the resolution for so many is to keep in shape or get in shape, right? And of course with the 150th celebrations as well, 150 is something that perhaps can keep you motivated. That number. Let's find out more about that with the regional manager of the running room. How are you, Phil Marsh?
Doing well.
Well, you look like you're in great shape.
You too. You ran an hour and a half yesterday. I didn't run quite that far.
That's okay, but you look like you're probably out there every day, or just about every day.
Yeah, pretty much 4 or 5 times a week, and kind of always moving with my job, so I kind of get paid to play, which is nice sometimes.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
2017, of course. I mean, every year we bring on new resolutions, and people talk about that, right? Running, staying in shape is probably. I mean, to me, that's the most effective way to stay in shape.
I think so. I mean, the bottom line for it is it's got to be fun, especially as we get to be an aging population. If it's something that you get forced to do, or it's like, oh, I have to do this, and I'm a big proponent of running, and you love running yourself. Mm-hmm. But I think if I really think try running. But if it doesn't work, salsa dancing or squash or racquetball or yoga, anything, as long as you're getting active and being moving, I think you're going to be better off than not doing anything.
You said salsa dancing first out of the gate, so is that something you like to do?
No.
Are you a salsa
something
dancer?
I can't do, but I know a lot of people that do it and they're crazy fit.
Yeah.
And I could look at them sometimes and go, geez, I wish I was in as good a shape as a salsa dancer.
Yeah.
So.
Have you been running all your life?
Yeah.
Is that
yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So
probably 37 something, 38 years now.
Okay. So is it difficult to get into the habit of running?
No, I don't think so. I think it's, we have a very gradual way to do it. John Stanton came up with Run Walk years ago with the running room. So we're very big on starting out, our first week of a running room clinic, for example. If you're going to learn to run, you run 1 minute, you walk 2 minutes. And you just keep repeating that, and you gradually get to the point where hopefully after 10 weeks you can do between 20 minutes and 5K, depending on what your background is. But we're really big on being gradual with it and enjoying it, and always, like showbiz, I always leave them wanting more.
Yeah.
You want to finish feeling like you could have done just a little bit more every time.
And I totally agree with that, because when I tell people that I'm out there for an hour and a half, people go, how do you do that? And I'm like, well, because I'm not running the whole time.
Yeah.
You run for as much as your body can take, and then you walk, and you take in the sights and the fresh air or whatever, and then you run again, and it's really not that difficult.
No, it's not. And as you said, I haven't raced in a long time, and for you, it's stress release, it's enjoyment, it's kind of enjoying the city. I was out the other night, Tuesday night, in the snowstorm, and there wasn't one soul on the canal the entire time. I must have stopped half a dozen times and just kind of looked around at the snow and kind of watching what was going on and envisioning the skaters on the canal. But yeah, sometimes it's a mental health thing. You're just going out for the feeling of moving. I didn't look at my watch or anything. It was just really nice to go out and play in the snow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I agree with that. And that's something that I like to tell people, because to me, it's every time I go running, I feel like my life changes.
Yeah.
You feel when you come back, you're invincible and nothing bothers you.
Yeah.
And it's true. And I even have these epiphanies when I'm running. Like, I'll think of something like, oh, that's what I need to do.
Yeah.
And this all comes because the creative juices are flowing, your blood's pumping. And
yeah, I think so. And you're healthier, you're moving. I guide run a blind Paralympian who's now getting into triathlon, and I guide him twice a week. And I enjoy those runs because, again, I'm out moving, but I'm so focusing on every step for him, especially ice and snow, that when I get done, I haven't even thought about how I'm feeling physically. Mentally, I'm exhausted. But you've gotten another facet of the running. You've gotten out, and you've seen what's possible with somebody who's blind. Again, no excuse.
Wow. Yeah. And I actually said this once already on the show this week. I find if you have an excuse for something, you don't want it bad enough.
Yeah.
Simple as that, right?
Yeah.
So even with the crazy weather we've had, like, getting the shoes on, where are you going?
Yeah.
I'm going to go running.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So 150, what are some ways we can incorporate some exercise?
Well, again, everybody asking, a couple of 3, 4, 5 months ago, before everything was kind of turning into 2017, what are your resolutions? What do you think of doing for 150? Canada, Ottawa especially, has so many national championships coming up this year, and crazy activities like the Red Bull, the crushed ice. I was almost thinking of getting back on skates, except I think I'm too small and too slow now.
Okay.
But, people were asking, I thought, we're going to be flooded with hearing 150 references every day in the paper, on the radio. And I thought, you know what, why not make a resolution for, if you're a runner or walker already, make a resolution to run or walk 150 times over the year, which is basically 3 times a week, and then you get 2 weeks to go have fun.
Yeah.
Otherwise, 150 minutes a week of activity. So 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week of moving of some sort. Great thing about that, if you do it, it's gonna lead to more, as you know with your running. You go out for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, you want to go more. So I think if you set your resolution and your goals around a number like that, for this year especially, you're not going to escape 150. And so
Yeah.
every time you hear, oh, 150, oh yeah, you know what, I'm supposed to do 150 minutes this week.
Yeah.
And I think for this year especially, it's going to remind you, and you're going to hear about a sporting event, you're going to hear about the Canada Games bid, or you're going to hear about the crushed ice for the 150th or whatever, and you'll be like, oh yeah, you know what, I need to do 30 minutes today. So I'm not usually a big fan of that, but I think this year especially, you're not going to be able to escape. It's going to be like an earworm song.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to escape 150, and so I think if you have a positive message to that, and maybe inspire somebody else too to come along with you and say, you know what, we're going to be active 30 minutes a day, 5 days this week. You figure out how we're going to do it, and I'll help you.
I think that's great. I think that's great. Running Room obviously offers services to help people get motivated as well.
Yeah, we have free groups Wednesdays at 6 or 6:30 throughout across the country actually, in all the stores. Sunday mornings 8:30 every Running Room store. Depending on the store, we'll have 100. We'll probably have 500 to 1,000 people out on the canal and out running or walking every Wednesday and Sunday. And we have clinics right from Learn to Run to Marathon.
Yeah.
So especially again race weekend, 48,000 people. A lot of them have come from Learn to Run.
Well, we've got to get people out there because I mean obesity and sickness it's pretty rapid right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the way to do it. Get
I think
motivated.
so. Again, it doesn't have to be running. It's easy for you and me because I mean I've lived running.
Yeah.
For you can go out and run an hour and a half and not even bat an eye. But for the average person, they look at that and it's terrifying.
Yeah.
But to say to them, start it gradually or go do something active and social. If you're going to have a meeting, I coached Stockwell Day years ago when he was Treasury Board President. And anytime we would have a meeting, or if he had a meeting with constituents or people that were active, he said, you know what, we're getting out of the office, we're going to have a walking meeting. And they would go walk around Parliament Hill, or they would go walk the Loop. And he had some major people, and they would just give him a heads up by email, hey, bring your running shoes or bring your walking shoes, and we're going to have an active meeting. So I think you can find ways to be active instead of having those excuses and saying, I'm too busy today.
Yeah. You make it sound like I have no problem with it at all, but it's not that easy.
That's what you told me. That's all I can go by.
Yeah, well, you got to fabricate some stuff. I wanted to feel manly in front of you, so I'm like, yeah, I go running.
Yeah, it's intimidating all this.
Phil Marsh with the Running Room, runningroom.com for more tips and, of course, to check out all your great services. Thank you so much for inspiring us and keeping us in shape.
Good. Well, thanks for having me.
We appreciate it. Coming up, musician Bronson is going to be performing for us next on Daytime.